Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. We are very happy to be here. We have a really, really good crowd, and we're very happy. My name is Gladys Gonzalez. I'm from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I'm an educator, passionate from the music education. I love working with children. I've been working and teaching for over 25 years, so teaching in children is my passion. I'm also fortunate to be working as a conductor and director of youth and kids orchestras in my area. I'm a Suzuki teacher certified, National Board teacher certified. Work outside the classroom. I have help in Mississippi, working with the Mississippi Department of Education, working on the curriculum for the choral and instrumental that they didn't have it. So I got to work with them and do that. I am also a curriculum developer and recently worked with the Harmony program in New York. And I'm a book author for kids, music books for learning how to read music. And I've been fortunate to work before in the past, last year, as a moderator like I'm doing today in the Sphinx Connect. So I'm very happy to be back this afternoon. Okay, today we're going to be working on the developing young musicians in this session. And we are going to be led by our fabulous music educators, the week panelists right here. And they're going to share with us their thoughts, and they will help us to make this new generation to grow musically. And I would like everybody to, if you please, you can introduce yourself and just talk about what you do, your work, and your collaboration for the music education.
I'm Megan Delatour. I am the orchestra director at Talent Unlimited High School, which is a public performing arts high school in New York City. I'm also the artistic director of interschool orchestras at 3rd Street, which is a tiered orchestra system that we have 4 large orchestras. And so I, by trade, am a violist. I got that instrument in 3rd grade because I misspelled violin. And it is my passion, and I cannot imagine my life without it. And like many of the people in this room, I am an alumni of the Sphinx Performance Academy. So that is my connection to Sphinx, and I'm excited to share some insights on music education with everyone.
Hey everyone, so nice to be here with you all. My name's Angelica Cortez. I'm from Los Angeles, so shout out to any Angelinos, and to LA, who's going through a really difficult time right now. I'll just take a moment to send a lot of love to LA and say thank you all for being here. I am the executive director of the Suzuki Association of the Americas. I also have the privilege of teaching at the University of Southern California as part of the Arts Leadership Program. And have worked in just music education for a very long time. I was a teacher. I also studied the trumpet, so how I got into the string world is still a little bit of a mystery to me, but I love it, and I'm very happy to be here. My connection to Sphinx is that I was a Sphinx lead alumni, and so very excited to be here with all of you today.
Hello, everyone. My name is Reynaldo Ramirez. I am originally from South Texas. And I guess first and foremost, I am a cheerleader of young musicians, including our young musicians here. And I'm so excited to hear you guys play. I am a French horn player, and I am the co-founder and program director of an El Sistema program in Newport News, Virginia. And we have about 350 students in our program, and they meet about 10 hours per week. And they study all the way from violins down to tuba and everything in between, all different types of music. And I also do consulting, and just a pleasure to be here with you all.
Hello, my name is Ana Abrantes, and I'm Director of Education for Sphinx. And before we keep hearing more from these wonderful panelists, we have a short performance from this group of students. Then they will go have a snack, and they will be back at the end for more music, more performances. So I just want to share with you my gratefulness to the panelists, to our teachers who are here. I'm going to introduce them at the end again, and to the students. This group that you're going to hear now are beginners, and they started having classes in September. And they are already giving a concert in a international conference. So this is very special for us. They're gonna play 5 songs. The first one is called Beasties. The second one is called Macaquinhos. And these are played by the Cesar Chavez Academy students. And then we're gonna have Mayberry Elementary playing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Then we're gonna have a combined group with these 2 schools playing Brazilian Habanera and ending with Banua. You may see me doing a little solo of percussion with them. And I want to mention that this is a beautiful community of immigrants from Southwest Detroit, and we're happy to celebrate the beautifulness of their community and the commitment to our program at Mayberry School and at Cesar Chavez Academy. So enjoy the performance.
Wrong group, sorry. no, but so this is a second year group, this side from CCA, and we're going to play the Brazilian habanero.
Please just give him another round of applause to this little guest. Well, this is the future. This is the future. So now we're gonna start our conversations, and as we explore more about our music education, we'll be addressing different points, and we're gonna start with the first point of music and skill development. So I'm gonna start asking to our panelists, how does engaging with music help develop cognitive skills such as memory and problem solving in children?
Since I have the mic, I guess I'll start. Well, first, kind of related to what we're doing, and every teacher in here will know, and as a parent, you're going to be in so many concerts, right, throughout the time, that you're going to see this, but you don't see what's happening right now. And what's happening right now is they are walking off stage, and they're going, yes! And they're all excited, and that memory of having you in front of them, having somebody in front of them to get all excited about what they did, and for you to listen to who they are, is really, really powerful. And what you're doing for them right now is so, so important. So I just want to thank you for what you're doing for them right now. That memory of success is going to be with them for years and years to come. And there's going to be so many opportunities for you to give them that gift of love and success. So part of this musical journey is actually doing the performance and actually coming through and going, yeah, there were little things, and somebody may have scratched a little different place, or maybe we weren't supposed to be on stage during that time, but they got through it, and they sounded amazing. And aren't you just very proud of them, right? And so go share that with them, because that is something that is going to be really, that's the product of music education right there.
Yeah, I'll just add on. I mean, there's tons of research, and like out of USC even, the Brain and Creativity Institute, that shows how learning music fundamentally changes your brains. Like the neuro pathways that open up because of music study are really, they make your executive function better, they help students connect better with people, and we can go on and on and on about the benefits of music. You're also, the difficulty of getting on a stage and speaking and playing when you're, what do they say? They're like 4 months in, 5 months in to learning an instrument. That's a skill set that nobody can take away from you. And that's a skill set that becomes useful, of course, later in life when your kids are off running organizations. But I think what I would focus on, and I think what music offers that's so special is music is fundamentally about relationships, right? And what your young people are getting, and I think what we as educators need to remember too, is that. It all boils down to that. What young people get out of music education is a community of people that they're learning alongside. They get a community of teachers that are pushing them, that believe in them, and they get opportunities for you all to grow with them, right? I can remember all the times that my mom sat down with me after I cried because I did bad in an audition, and it mattered that she said, hey, you know what, it's okay, and I still love you. That's what you all are doing right here too. Today, you're gonna pat your kid on the back and be like, hey, you did it, good job. Another time you're gonna see them and they're gonna be like, Mom, I didn't do it. And you're gonna be like, no, you didn't. But you know what, I still love you. And I think ultimately that's the real gift that music gives. It's a lot of opportunity for relationship.
And I'll just also add to speaking to the cognitive development of it, being a musician in itself is being a problem solver. Because if you think about it, you're trying to figure out how to play a song. You have to think about where your fingers are going. Am I flat? Am I sharp? Oh my God, what am I doing with my bow hand? All of those different things. And that itself, I'm in a school every day. I see the effect of it when I have a kid that was not doing great in algebra, come back later in the year and the math teacher come up to me and go like, their memorization skills are getting a lot better something has had to change in their routine. And it's because, we're seeing, my parents are not musicians themselves, so they see the product on the stage and they're like, that's really cool. They don't see what's happening in the practice room, which was, I have to take a second. I have to see how the notes connect to what's going on with my fingering. There's alternate fingerings to things. And that's a lot of brain power that you have to use for those 2 minutes of music or that 3 minute of music that's happening. So there's a lot that's happening internally to present what you guys are seeing on the stage also.
I always mention that, sorry, go ahead, please. I would think always that it is like a high-level thinking, because if you think what is going on in the brain when a child is trying to put all together what he's learning, like the notes that I'm playing, my bow, my standing, my sitting, the notes I'm hearing, everything that goes around, it's a high-level thinking. They got there developed, and that brings us to the next question. Like, how does the music help in the process that contributes to a better academic in school, the performance when we are in school? How that music brings that, how that helps in school?
So like I just said, I have the teachers are communicating with me that they're seeing the change in their performances on tests and things like that. And it's also, I would say one of the added skills is also a time management component of it as well, that you see, what do I do when I have all this music in front of me and I have a performance, but I only have 20 minutes to practice or only have 30 minutes to practice, which is the reality of being a young musician, that there's classes going on. Some of us are on sports teams and things like that. So it's a lesson that I talk to my students a lot about, which is practicing smarter, not harder. So what is it like to budget time? If I notice in a piece that something is going on note-wise and it's not sounding the best, I'm not going to play the part that I'm really comfortable with. Like, even though I really, really love playing the Sleeping Beauty melody, if you know the piece, it's the opening that has a lot going on in the left hand. That's what I need to take the 5 minutes and break down and work on, and it'll add to the overall performance of it. So that was something, it's a hard thing when we are young to want to buckle down and do the harder things. But that is something that also translated into when I was studying for a chem test. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to fail. Okay, what do I need to buckle down and look at before I move on to the next step? And it makes it a much less daunting experience also, I've seen.
Yeah, I think a couple things. I would say first, as educators, what we're really trying to leave young people with is an ability to learn, to understand how they learn, right? And I think when you're studying an instrument, the things that don't come so naturally to you, you really have to work hard to get. In math, sometimes it can be really easy to kind of wave your hands and be like, I'm just not good at math, I don't get it, I'm gonna walk away and go do something else. In music, you have something to listen to, you have a sound, or you have a teacher that says, this is what you're going after, and you can start to understand, okay, I can't do that, but I can watch my teacher and how they're doing it. I can break this down into really small steps and add those up to get to that piece. So I think there's this really, really direct line in music when you're learning music that's like, okay, first I'm learning this one bar of music or just this one note. If I can just get this one note, okay, great. Now I'm going to string those notes together. Okay, now I'm playing a whole piece with a whole group of musicians, and now there's other instrumentalists behind me playing different notes. So I think what music really offers is an opportunity for your students to understand, maybe I didn't do this 6 months ago, but man, now look at me. I've been at this for a few months, and I did that because I learned how to practice. And that word practice is, I think, one of the most valuable skill sets that you can take away in life, because surely your child will face hardship. Surely your child will face struggle. Surely you want them to see that and say, you know what, I've seen this before. I've come up to something and wasn't able to do it, and then I did it. So I know that this thing is something that I can overcome and figure out very easily.
Yeah, as far as the raw, just academic, you can only get better at your academics if you're actually in school. And one of the things that we see in our program, and I know it is replicated throughout the country is students that are studying music show up to school way more often than students that are not. And I mean, just as a dad of a daughter that plays French horn, that makes me get up to take her to a 6:45 a.m. rehearsal when her school doesn't start until 7:45. You know, I get her there so that because she wants to be there, because it's fun. And that driving force of wanting to be part of something bigger than what they could do on their own, that gets them to school. That gets them to the place where they can do all of the goal setting, and take advantage of all of the synapses that are happening and all the executive function growth. But really, that fun that is early on in music, before we get, because it is, I mean, it is struggle sometimes, right? I mean, we're one of the best things that music teaches you, and this goes into academics, is the tenet of music when you practice is you start slow and you get faster. And so you start from the basic level and you then start to get at a higher level and a higher level. And if a person can take that in any academic situation and come in from their base level of where they can do it and understand and then move themselves up, that is a lifelong learner right there. And that's somebody that is going to be able to succeed in life.
So exactly. It's just everything the kids learn in music, you can transfer to any other subject. You know, we try, and if, just one of my measures or songs is not working, we keep trying, we can try and we try better, we try in a different way. We ask for help, we try the different ways. And if we transfer that to any other subject, that's where you make you successful. Because you are used to trying in different ways and try to get better. And knowing that you have to start from the basics and you gotta go from level 1, and that you know that later you're gonna get better. And you're going to be in level 5 or whatever level they have. And you know that give you some kind of persistence and consistency that it is going to work. So that teaches them more that part on the students. And that takes us to the music in the child character development. So I would like to ask, how does exposure to different music genres and cultures influence the development of empathy and understanding in children?
Yeah, well, I think first and foremost, young people getting to engage in music that's important to them and that is representative of them is so life-changing. You know, part of the reason I actually picked up a trumpet was that I grew up with the sound of Celia Cruz in my house, and so I heard someone play a trumpet, and they weren't playing Celia Cruz, but I was like, I know that sound, and I want to make that sound, and that's a really powerful tool. And I think being surrounded by educators and people who encourage you to explore your interests, to explore the sounds that feel like home to you can make a really, really big difference. And I think, yeah, socio-emotionally, I think, again, what's amazing about being a musician is you're always one person removed from the person next to you. So we didn't know each other super well, but we have like 15 people in common because we're all in the music sphere. Certainly also because of Sphinx, but I think what I mean to say is that the people that your kid are playing next to are people that they will know for their whole lives and who will look out for them for their whole lives. I have students who are here who are still connected to the people that they met at their summer camp, or who are still connected to the teachers that they met at the summer camp that I was a part of, right? And that's because, again, music ultimately comes back to relationships, and there's just so much opportunity in artistry to build healthy relationships with people, and certainly the educators that are in music education spaces are looking to help your young person succeed. And that is one of the biggest determinants of success for young people, is who they're surrounded by and the level of support that they have. So yeah, I think there's just so much opportunity here for us to make sure that students succeed based on that. It's a fight.
So speaking to empathy and socio-emotional standing of kids, I always tell my students that when we're playing a piece, we're leading with love and we're telling a story that connects to somebody in the room. And I think why it's such a big part of my own teaching philosophy is because I'm a product of seeing the effects on my own mental health. I always emphasize that I don't come from a musical background because I think a lot of times, especially in the string world, it's assumed that like, oh, you didn't like it, but you know, you were really good and then you decided that you want to pursue music. And that was not my reality. It was, I played viola. I was in 3rd grade because my school district had a really strong music education program. I did not like it for a very, very, very long time, to many people's surprise. And because there wasn't that personal connection just yet. And like, I was the kid that was talking in orchestra all the time. I played viola, somehow got moved to the back of the cello section. And there was a moment when I was in high school, which is considered late as a string player, that I heard someone playing the viola, the Brahms Viola Sonata, and that like blew my mind, and I got super into it. In my practice, I actually started practicing all of those things, and I had the great fortune of getting into a summer music program upstate New York, and I went from playing music around this level to Shostakovich's Fifth Symphony, American in Paris, all of those things. I immediately started crying. I was calling my mom, begging her to come pick me up. She was like, Megan, I paid $2,000. We're not picking you up. And I was sitting in the back of the viola section having a panic attack, and the orchestra conductor came up to me. He's like, what's going on? Are you okay? And I'm like, I can't play any of this. And he said, do you like music? I said, yes. He's like, do you feel seen when you're playing music? I said, yeah. And then he said, so what's wrong? And that was a light bulb moment for me, and like feeling seen in that moment, that was what made me want to continue playing music, because it was an opportunity to have an outlet to express myself. If I'm feeling happy, there was a piece that corresponds to that. If I'm feeling sad, there was a piece that corresponds to that. And I faked a lot of notes that concert, but it motivated me to give myself the tools to be able to properly express myself through music. And I think then when you see a young musician going through something, or a young student in their own lives, they're gonna put on something on Spotify, something on Apple Music that's gonna get them out of that funk. I always think of it as a tool to give themselves the power to do that, which is amazing in terms of repertoire choice. My students pick the music that we're playing. And in terms of level of empathy, I have students that have been dealing with loss in their family. And then their decision was, okay, what is her cultural background? Let's do something for her. And they played she unfortunately lost her father, this student. They made the decision to play a piece, one of Shostakovich's preludes, at her father's funeral, because they're Russian and that was his favorite composer when he came to all of our concerts. And just knowing that her colleagues planned that on their own was such a special moment for them. And they're 13, 14, 15-year-olds making these decisions on their own and asking me to do it. I said, if you want to do it, let's do it. So I think we're inherently emotional people when we become musicians, and it's just all love.
Just real quick, I'll add, there is no better way to build empathy and tolerance for your fellow man than travel. And music, playing different types of music, listening to different types of music, and experiencing different types of music is probably the best way that you can connect to other people's ideas. And so what I really do think that if I want to stress this idea, and to the parents especially, and of course the teachers, is don't say you dislike a style of music. You maybe don't prefer it, but learn to respect different styles of music, right? So, heavy metal might not be your bag, but it has a place. Different types. There's so many things in world music. There's plenty of respect. We in orchestra, we were playing something by a symphony by Ravi Shankar, and we could not look and play in that piece with an eye from a tradition of Bach. We had to look at it from a different tradition of raga, and we had to change our point of view in order to understand. And so I think that's one of the things, as your musician grows, you'll find that you grow as well, and you'll start to open up and hear different types of musics.
Meg, you talk about something about emotional, and it's one of the topics that I have here. I just want to add something about the emotional that it resonates with me with what you were saying. As educators, for the teachers that are here, we need to be sensitive to that one student in the back that is struggling and see that what is going on. Like if it's emotionally going through something about the music, and everybody can play something. They might not play what the front row is playing, but they can play something and make them feel part of the group because they are there for something, and sometimes that music means more to them than for us. So we gotta be sensitive as educators. What this student can do in this group? Let's figure out. Let's adjust the music and go and get close to them and talk to them, and let's do some arrangements, especially for that student in the back, and let them feel welcome and part of the group. I'm going to move on to another topic, and it's the pathways for students in music. And this question is, what are the various pathways a student can take within music education and how they can align with their personal goals and interests?
Yeah, I can start on that one. I'll just share that when I was studying music in college, and I was very fortunate that my parents were very supportive of me studying music. They were sort of like, we think you'll figure it out, go for it. If you want to do this music thing, we're, understand the risks there, but we support you. But I'll be direct that I had no idea the number of pathways that were open to me with the degree in music. I had no idea that the role that I'm in now even existed. I didn't understand that nonprofits were filled with different opportunities for me to build a career that was meaningful and connective and important to me. And the other thing I want to say is that there are tons of young people right now that are creating jobs that did not exist when I was younger. And there are tons of people right now that are building podcasts and creative content that are doing huge favors and connecting people and changing the world for the better. So I would just say, for one, I would... what I found really supportive was just my parents trusting me and believing in me. What I found really supportive was mentors who stepped in and said to me, hey, have you thought about this? Are you curious about arts administration? Are you thinking at all about, maybe teaching? What can we do to help? There were people who really believed in me, supported me, and were there for me when I was afraid to ask for help. So I think... my parents and mentors' willingness to be humble and to see me for me and see my interests, that all really helped. But I would just say that the world is open for your kids. They may create something that doesn't exist right now, and that I really hope that they feel supported in that.
Just with the students that have come through our program, we have people that are studying biology, people that are studying engineering. So the pathway is anywhere that they want to go, because of the skills that they're learning through music education are really transferable anywhere. There's an old stat, and I hate to actually say the number because I'm sure it's changed, but this was a stat in the early 2000s that 20% of medical school students were coming from the arts background. So medical students were coming from an undergrad that was in music or in theater or some sort of performing arts background. That is amazing. And that is a testament to really what they are learning now is transferable anywhere.
Now we're going to move to another topic, the becoming professionals. And what are the key skills, aside from musical talent, that students need to develop in order to succeed professionally in the music industry?
So something that's really big with my students and myself and my teaching philosophy is that we have to have very real and candid conversations about our industry as well. There is a lot to love about music, but there is also a lot wrong with it. And it would be a disservice of me to paint it with rose-colored glasses and tell them that everything about it is amazing because, in a sense, it's a false reality. So we have something that we call courageous conversations at my school. And part of that, I put that through the lens of music. So we'll sit down and have just very frank conversations about what's going on in the industry. We'll talk about the audition process and what does that look like. And we'll talk about things that are not so pleasant some of the times. Things about not being the only one that looks like you in that ensemble. What is that like? Because our school is a safe space. What is it like to be in a safe that is not necessarily one that is like this room? And then another thing about going into professionalism that I think is important also is motivation is a huge thing. So a lot of the teaching artists that I pull in are ones at different ages and stages in their career that look like my students. So we'll have college students that are pursuing music come in. We will have people that are early stages in their orchestra career that are doing sub gigs or playing on Broadway shows or things like that come in. And then having people that are towards the end of their career that look like them, seeing that there is a pathway for them to exist in this space, seeing that there are people that are 20, 25, 30, 60 that look like them that are leading fulfilling musical lives is something that I've found has been an amazing form of motivation for students. That's not just me saying you can do it and they're like, okay, well, you're my teacher and you're just saying that. They're like, oh wait, there are people that are actually doing this and finding success.
Yeah, I would say, honestly, like the baseline level things, showing up on time. When you say you're going to do something, you do it. And making sure that you honor and respect the people around you. I think those kind of baseline level things are really key. I also would say a willingness to learn forever and to understand that there is no, and this is something I think music teaches so well, you're never done with something. You're never finished with a piece of art or a piece of music, or there's always something else that you could do different. There's a new perspective. There's that one thing that you wish you could do just a little bit better. And I think part of what gets us stuck professionally is just a little bit of, oh, I did that and that's good enough and now I can kind of walk away from it. Well, if we want our world to be a better place, if we want our work to be better, if we want the communities that we're living in to be better, then we have to strive for a little bit more each time we're working on something. So I think if you can carry with yourself a real honesty about what you're doing really well and what needs improvement, and a real care for the people around you, then, yeah, you're going to transform the workspaces that you're a part of.
And I have just one added thing, especially to the teachers and to our young musicians that are kind of about to become professionals, is learn about business. Learn about how to market yourself. Learn about how to sell yourself. And honestly, one of the best things that I ever did, I spent about 3 months selling cars. And the reason I sold cars, well, I needed a job. But the best thing about it was that I went up to people and they came to my lot, but they hated me already, right? So I went up to them and, hey, how can I show you this car? And they're like, no, go away, right? And when we're at that level, you know, you got to be able to break that ice of all the people that have so many things coming at them. How do you get to them? How do you sell yourself? And so that communication aspect, I think, is really important, the marketing and then also the business aspect.
I think we have one more question before the kids come back and play. The Overture comes and play again. This is about recruitment, and we have so many young teachers, and they're about to start their journey in this music. And it's very important to see what strategies can be employed to recruit new students into the music programs, especially in communities with limited access to music education. We know we don't go to the biggest program in the U.S. Maybe you are just hired to start a program, and we probably have limited access or none. So what are the strategies they can employ to create a new program?
Sure. Well, my number one thing, and this is something that came out of the Abreu Fellowship early on, was they came up with this kind of systematic thing that came out of El Sistema on how they hired teachers. And I think the way that you recruit students is by recruiting amazing teachers. And so it's called the CAT system. And they hire citizen, artists, teachers, and scholars. And so citizen stands for the type of person that really wants to be in that community, right? And then artist is, yes, that they can play, but what are they really artistic at? Are they artistic at loving people, at making sure that, at caring and making sure that they're thinking about other people? Then the teaching aspect is, of course, can they transfer knowledge? And then the scholar is, are they always willing to learn new things? Because students teach us things every day, and we need to be able to learn from our students. So as you're going to start new programs, or if you're an administrator and you're hiring teachers, citizen, artist, teacher, scholar is probably the biggest advice that I can give. It has been something that I have been following for 15 years, and it has not let us down.
Yeah, I would add, I think students and parents vote for how your music education programming is going with their feet, right? If young people and parents are continuing to show up, then that means something and that matters. And I think the single best thing that you can do to understand what recruitment strategies might work better is check in with the parents and the students that are in your program. Center the things that matter to them, center the parents' needs, make sure that what you're doing is meeting the folks in front of you. I think when it comes to recruitment, sometimes, especially as administrators, I feel like we're banging our heads against a wall trying to figure out why aren't people coming, and we don't ask. So I would say just lots and lots of inquiry, lots of curiosity around the people that you're trying to build relationships to.
I'll add one thing, which is a slightly sillier recommendation, but TikTok has been our amazing recruitment strategy for us this year for the youth orchestra that I'm artistic director for. We made a TikTok account that, for some reason, one of our concerto competition winners went viral for the Rachmaninoff piano concerto. For some reason, 500,000 views on it. And we had a flurry of registrations come in that same week that video went up. So as much as there is a downside to social media, a lot of buzzwords come up of just saying like violent talk or things like that have been working to the benefit of our students, as well as there's an excitement of them being their own social media managers and seeing people are getting excited about their concerts and creating their own promotions and stuff like that. So it's been an amazing tool to reach for me who's based in New York, reaching a broader New York environment as well, of just sending out a blast of what's coming up, when's our concerts, things like that, sharing out links with the community that typically doesn't engage with that sort of content, and sometimes they surprise themselves.
And I also think that the best advocates are the students itself. They are the ones who actually, if they go out and share what they've been doing in the orchestras and the performance, parents, more than you can do, administrator, they are the ones, the best advocates for making grow your program. I think we're ready for the Sphinx Overture to come back. Okay.
While we wait for the students to get settled and we get some more lighting here, there we go. I'm going to introduce the music, the songs that they're going to play next. So one of the main areas of focus that we have at Sphinx is the repertoire that we teach the students. At the beginning, you got to hear a mix of traditional repertoire and repertoire composed by Black and Latino composers. So you got the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, which I'm sure our Suzuki representative here appreciated. But we also had Black and Latino composers like the Brazilian Habanera and the Banua. Now, for the final performance here, we have 5 songs. The first one is a very traditional, a concerto by Telemann. And these students here are 3rd and 4th year students. They are already working on more advanced repertoire with different voices, with changes of position. And so you're going to see that happening for the first piece. Then we're going to have another challenging piece called Estudo Brasileiro, another Brazilian composer. Then we have Chevy Chase. Then we're going to have a special feature by one of our students playing piano, just an improvisation session. Because we introduce them to music through the violin, but they start finding their passions within our program. So you're going to see a lot of passion in Tenio's performance playing piano. And then finally, we have 2 pieces with our guest musicians from Venezuela. So when we get to that point, I'm going to introduce the last 2 pieces. But for now, enjoy the next 3, led by Ms. Maria.
Before we start, I just wanted to talk a little bit about this group. Unfortunately, we're missing 2 people today. It's winter, so, colds and all that kind of thing. But this is the longest standing group in the Overture program. These kids started with me like the one that you saw on the first group, little ones, and they've been together for 4 years. And I have to give a lot of credits to the school that support the program, CCA, Cesar Chavez Academy, and also, thank you. Is that okay? And also to, is it working? No? Okay, so can you hear me? Okay. And also to all the parents that are also here supporting the group. This is all credit to my beloved Southwest community and the Southwest Detroit. Para la comunidad latina de Detroit and Southwest. We're very proud to present them. And they've been working really hard. I dragged them around with me to the state and also out of state. We were lucky to go to the Suzuki conferences. It was last year or 2 years ago, maybe? Yes, okay. So I hope you enjoyed the program. Thank you for coming tonight. And this song, again, you're going to hear Miss Anna doing a little percussion there in the back. It's because we're stamping, but it's a carpet, so nobody can hear the stamp. So we need more noise.
So now while we're getting the rest of the kids, all the beginners, everybody you heard at the beginning will come back to play with us. I would like to invite Daniel to do a little solo and improvisation on the piano for us. share that Daniel, since the very first time that he came to the program, he saw the piano of one of our teachers and he was asking to play the keyboard. And for a while he was self-taught. So this is all improvisation. This is Daniel. He didn't learn the song with anybody but himself and his brain. And now he's having private lessons, but most of his work has been done solo. So I just would like to share this passion that he has, not only with the violin, but piano. And now for the last two songs, we have guest musicians coming all the way from Venezuela. And not only to play the last two pieces that are from Venezuela, but we also have a traditional instrument called cuatro. So you're going to see our friend Amber playing cuatro for us. And we're so happy to have guest musicians. And before we play the last two songs, I want to thank again the teachers. It hasn't been an easy job to put all of these songs together, and we only had 3 months, September, October, and November, and then it was holiday break, and here we are performing for you. So I hope you have enjoyed the performance. The last two pieces are Los Giros de San Benito, and then we're gonna make Christmas in January playing Burrito Sabanero. So if you know how to sing Burrito Sabanero, please join us.
Before we play our last two pieces, I just wanted to thank you, my wonderful friends here from Venezuela, Carlos Martinez and his wife, Amber, and Dad, Carlos también, right? Okay, so we're very happy to have them here to make this party a little bit happier. Do you remember a group that plays around town here now? It's called Palaparranda. So you should go and see them. Hello, hello. ¿Sí me escuchan? Okay. next song, I encourage you to sing it, you know. I'm sure that a lot of you probably hear that around Christmas time. La próxima canción que vamos a tocar, si se la saben, por favor, canten con los niños, okay? A part, you follow Miss Wendy there, okay? You play the intro, follow me. Ready? ¿Listos? Ready, guys? Okay. Before we're leaving, please, I need, again, the parents' help. If you're taking your kids home with you, if they're not going back in the bus, please meet them in the lobby outside. You kids, if you're leaving in the bus with me or Miss Wendy, you stay right here. Don't go anywhere, okay? Thank you, thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Oh, yeah, well, no, thanks.